Hello, I'm Louis, and this is a short video about cinematic grading for photos, or how I sort of grade photos, really. I've had a few people ask me about the sort of techniques I use in Photoshop, so I thought this video would be quite good in explaining some of them, and hopefully they're useful to somebody. So, yeah, let's open the image up in Camera Raw. Firstly, I quite like to get as much latitude as possible in the image, so a sort of flat image as possible, so I can process a lot of it in Photoshop, and I do that by well, just sort of taking away all of the contrast boosting sliders like blacks and contrast, and turn up fill light quite a lot, so this brings back some of the detail in the shadows. I use sharpen quite a lot in Camera Raw. It's pretty good because I like the whole holding down Control so you can see the effect the masking makes, as well as just singing. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I'm going to make it even more flat by duplicating this layer. Image adjustments. It's good to sort of open it up in 16-bit as well. It just gives you a bit more. You can push the image a bit further. Shadow highlights. Not so much highlights, but just turn this down so it's not too HDR-like. Yeah, that seems alright. Cool. Knock it back a smidge, maybe. And then the next step I like to do is adding some fake volumetric light, or the feeling of just the added sort of feeling of atmosphere or dust in the scene. We're getting a soft brush and just picking a sort of highlight color and painting it in, really. Scaling it way up. Using the crop tool now and again just to clear out all of the pixels that are outside the canvas area, just so it saves memory and stuff. It just makes everything go a bit smoother. Cool. So I'll just hide that for a second. Get a blue the other side, because it's quite nice. Cool light from the window here, and a warm light from a sort of a desk lamp. Paint some of that in. So you can use hue saturation or Control U to boost this up a little bit, have more of an effect. Cool. Scale this way up to do the crop thing to delete everything outside. Bit more scaling. Good. Should make that a bit more saturated as well. Yeah, I'll do. This one I'll have just knock it back a bit. I also want to add some blue color to the left hand side as well. Like that. Switch this on, not have it full whack yet. Create a black and white layer where I can just sort of adjust the color tone quite nicely. Boost up the yellows a bit, it's quite nice. There's some blues this side. Yeah, that'll do. Keep that on normal and just knock out some of the colour. Some of the soft light, sometimes using soft light overlay or multiply gives some sort of nice sort of effects. Well, yeah, I'll just have a little bit of that. First sort of curves layer. You boost the contrast up with a nice S curve. And do some cross-processing type stuff by well, the way I like to do it is take out some of the blues and the highlights, put them in the shadows, like so, maybe a bit more. I'd overdo it. I can always sort of turn it down later if it's a bit too extreme. Maybe some more red, tiny bit of red and red in the shadow, and tailing off before it gets to the highlights. Yeah, that's quite nice. Let me turn this up a smidge. Maybe even more contrasty like that. Could be cool. Right, I'm going to add some vignette action down here. So Shift F5 to fill a layer with white. Use the lens correction tool, which has a nice way of correcting vignette, but we're going to use it here for putting it in. It's going to max it out actually. Control and soft light, so it it brightens up the middle a bit as well. Control and multiply, so it just darkens everything down a bit. Might just boost it a bit so it only affects the corners, and maybe adds a little bit of red in there. Maybe not, I don't know. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that seems good. Create a new layer. This is quite nice for sort of tone mapping, or kind of tone mapping, or sort of like dodge and burning really. Create a 50% grey layer, put it on overlay. Get a nice big soft brush like this one. Just like that. Switch these to the default black and white foreground background. Use X to switch between them. And start sort of painting areas you want to boost and bring attention to. I'll go over this again in a second. Just put load here because it's pretty light here anyway. I'm going to blur the hell out of that just so it doesn't look so... well, it doesn't look like brush strokes. Cool. I'll take this down even more. And compensate a bit with that. Now I'm going to do just some sort of localized curves adjustment by using the quick mask Q on the keyboard, just to paint an area you want to select. Q to release, select inverse, curves adjustment layer, and just have a play about. Just going to unlock that and move it over. I might just actually bring that sort of soft light up a bit. Take down the blue a bit. It's a bit overkill. Or is it? Maybe I'll just take it down in that on this camera. Cool. And just even more contrast. Soft like a bit. Create a new layer as well. This is just good for sort of noise and breaking up artifacting. 50% grey. Filter noise. Add noise. That's a bit dodgy. Sort that out. Cool. Scale it up a bit, just so it isn't too perfect. And soft light. Actually, that's probably fine. So yeah, that kind of breaks up things a little bit. So whereas before you've got sort of edges of noise where there isn't no noise to noise, is a bit abrupt, and that just sort of evens things up. I need to knock it back a bit, not too extreme. Cool, yeah, okay, I'm going to call that done. Thanks for watching. Hopefully some of that is helpful. And yeah, check out my photos on flickr.com/2create, the number 2, create. Thanks very much. Bye.